You owe money. Maybe a little. Maybe a lot. The average American carries $104,000 in debt. But debt is not one thing. At $5,000 it is an inconvenience. At $50,000 it is a weight. At $200,000 it rewires your brain. At $500,000 it becomes your identity. This is what life actually feels like at every level. Not the math. The math is simple. Interest times time equals pain. This is about what happens to your life. Your sleep. Your relationships. Your sense of self. Level 1. $0 in debt. You are 23. You graduated with no student loans. Your parents helped. Or you worked 3 jobs. Either way you start at 0. Your paycheck hits and it is yours. All of it. No minimum payments. No interest accruing at 2 a.m. Only 23% of Americans under 30 have 0 debt. You are in the minority. You sleep 8 hours. You do not check your bank app at midnight. The number does not haunt you. But here is the thing about 0. It does not last. Because the system is not designed for 0. The credit card companies know this. They send you offers the week you turn 18. They are not being generous. They are being patient. The average credit limit offered to an 18-year-old is $500. By 21 it is $000. They raise it before you ask. That is not a reward. That is a trap being set. Level 2. $5,000 in debt. It started with a credit card. They offered it to you at 18. Pre-approved. 0% for 12 months. You bought a laptop. New tires. A flight home for Christmas. All reasonable. All necessary. Then the 0% ended. And 24.99% began. At 24.99% your $5,000 becomes $6,200 in 1 year if you only pay minimums. You tell yourself it is temporary. You will pay it off next month. Next month becomes next quarter. Next quarter becomes next year. $5,000 does not feel dangerous. That is why it is dangerous. The average American has $501 in credit card debt. The average interest rate is 24.37%. At minimum payments that take 17 years to pay off. 17 years. You will be 35 before a debt you took at 18 is gone. If you never add another dollar. Level 3. $20,000. You are 27. You have a car loan, 2 credit cards, and a personal loan you took to consolidate the first 2 cards. Your minimum payments total $487 per month. That is before rent. Before food. Before gas. You start doing math in the grocery store. You put the olive oil back. You buy the store brand. Your friends go to dinner. You say you already ate. You did not already eat. You check your credit score. 641, it was 722 years ago. At 20,000 you are not drowning. You are treading water. And your arms are getting tired. The average American hits 20,000 in debt by age 26. Most never go back to 0. You start getting calls from numbers you do not recognize. They leave voicemails. You delete them without listening. You lie awake at 2 a.m. doing math. If I pay a month. If I get a raise. If I sell the car. The math never works. Level 4. $50,000. You are 31. You went back to school. Or you bought a car you could not afford. Or both. Your monthly debt payments are now $847. Your take-home pay is $3,900. 22% of your income goes to debt before you buy a single thing. Before rent. Before electricity. You cannot get approved for an apartment. Your debt-to-income ratio is too high. The landlord says no. You move in with a roommate. You are 31 years old and you have a roommate. Your phone rings. Unknown number. You do not answer. It rings again at 8 a.m. And again at noon. At 50,000 debt is no longer something you have. It is something you are. It will take 11 years to pay off 50,000 at minimum payments. You will pay 32,000 in interest alone. You start hiding purchases from your partner. A coffee. A new shirt. Not because they are expensive. Because you feel guilty spending anything. Your emergency fund is 0. 1 flat tire. 1 ER visit. 1 layoff. And the whole thing collapses. Level 5. $100,000. You stop opening the mail. The envelopes pile up by the door. You know what they say. Student loans. Car. Credit cards. Medical bill from that ER visit. It all added up while you were not looking. You make $62,000 a year. After taxes, that is $4,000 a month. Your minimums are $1,400. You have not been to the dentist in 3 years. You cannot afford to be sick. Your partner asks about the future. Kids. A house. You change the subject. At $100,000 your credit score is 580. A mortgage requires 620 minimum. The American dream needs a credit check. You Google debt relief at 1 a.m. Bankruptcy. Consolidation. Settlement. Each option has a cost. At 100,000 you stop talking about it. You stop thinking about the future. You just survive the month. You calculate how long until you are free. The number is 14 years. You will be 47. Your kids will be in high school. You think about what you would do with $400 a month if it were not going to creditors. A vacation. A savings account. A life. At 100,000 in debt you pay per month in interest alone. That is $0.48 per year that buys you nothing. It does not reduce the balance. It just keeps the creditors quiet. Level 6. $200,000. Medical school. Law school. A house in 2021 that lost value. A business that failed. There are many roads to 200,000. Your monthly payments exceed $2,000. Some months you choose which creditor to pay. Some months you choose none. You develop a physical reaction to your phone ringing. Your chest tightens. Your jaw clenches. Studies show debt over 150,000 causes measurable changes in cortisol levels. Your body is in permanent fight or flight. You turn down the promotion. It requires relocation. You cannot pass the background check for the new apartment. Your relationship ends. Not with a fight. With silence. They wanted a future you could not promise. At 200,000 the debt is no longer financial. It is neurological. It changes how you see every decision. You see a 22-year-old with no debt and you feel something between envy and grief. You start reading forums at night. People who paid off 200,000. It took them 7 years of living on rice and beans. You wonder if you have 7 years of discipline in you. The shame is the worst part. Not the payments. Not the interest. The shame of being an adult who cannot manage money. Even though the system was designed this way. Level 7. $350,000. At this level the math stops mattering. 350 or 400. What is the difference? You cannot pay either. You are a doctor making 180,000 a year. Or a lawyer making 210. On paper you are successful. Your colleagues drive new cars. You drive a 2014 Civic. They do not know. Nobody knows. The average doctor graduates with $250,000 in student loans. Add interest during residency. Add a mortgage. 350 is not unusual. You make minimum payments of $3,200 per month. You will be 58 when it is paid off. You are 34 now. You stop feeling the debt. Not because it got better. Because your nervous system gave up. Numbness is not peace. It is surrender. At 350 you perform normalcy. You smile at work. You say fine when asked. Inside the number sits like concrete in your chest. You meet someone new. They ask what you do for fun. You say hiking. What you mean is free activities only. At 350,000 your debt-to-income ratio is 194%. No bank will touch you. No landlord will approve you. You are financially invisible. Level 8. $500,000. $500,000. A medical degree plus a house underwater. Or a failed business plus personal guarantees. Or a divorce. Your net worth is negative. Everything you own, if you sold it all tomorrow, you would still owe money. You have considered bankruptcy. Chapter 7. Chapter 13. You know the difference now. You never thought you would. Bankruptcy stays on your record for 7 to 10 years. It does not erase student loans. It does not erase tax debt. It is not a reset. At 500,000 you do not introduce yourself by your job. You introduce yourself by your debt. In your head you are not a doctor. You are someone who owes $500,000. Your children will not know. You will make sure of that. They will have what you did not. At $500,000 the question is no longer how do I pay this off. The question is who am I without this weight. Some people at this level file bankruptcy and rebuild. Some people negotiate settlements for 40 cents on the dollar. Some people just keep paying for 30 years. None of these options are easy. All of them require looking at the number. All of them require saying it out loud. Here is what nobody tells you about debt. Total US consumer debt is $17.7 trillion. That is not a personal failure. That is a system. Credit was not designed to help you. It was designed to create a customer who pays forever. The product is not the loan. The product is you. The credit card industry made $105 billion in interest last year. That money came from people making minimum payments. But debt is not a life sentence. People climb out of 200,000. People climb out of 500,000. It takes years. It takes one payment at a time. The debt snowball. The debt avalanche. Income-driven repayment. PSLF. The tools exist. But they require you to look at the number. The first step is not a payment. The first step is opening the envelope. You are not your debt. But you cannot outrun it either. The only way out is through. Wherever you are on this list, you are not alone. 190 million Americans are somewhere on this list with you. The number is not who you are. It is just where you start. The person who paid off $300,000 did not do it with motivation. They did it with a spreadsheet and a Tuesday. And then another Tuesday. 4 years. Nobody posts their debt payoff on Instagram at month 3. They post it at month 84. The middle is silent. The middle is where it happens. Open the envelope. Write down the number. Say it out loud to one person. That is day 1. Everything else comes after.